Shalom Akim, Yahweh Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Kakadash, Barakatam, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Brimstone Ruel, Zebram Nasha, DC Camp. Quick news update, lesson for the hopeful elect. Yes, a lot of people are basically catching on to to Edom. Ever since the Most High has exposed them for what they are. When the E class gets a visit from the Lord, you know what happens. So this is just their response, you know, uh, to keep on hiding and hiding and hiding and hiding and hiding. They cannot hide from the Lord, man. You know, that's the reason why. I need to read this quick precept. It's gonna be book from the book of Sirach chapter 23. Yep, Sirach 23 and let's see, and 18. A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, Who seeth me? I am compassed about with darkness, and walls cover me, and nobody seeth me. What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins. Such a man feareth the eyes of man, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of man, and considering the most secret parts. Yeah, so that's just what Esau have to do with, man. When the Lord begins to expose them, that's just what they're gonna have to realize that the jig is almost up. You know, the jig is almost up, and they're gonna have to deal with it. And everything they've been doing so far, it's not working. Them trying to distract the people, it's not working. The people are awakened, so now they have to pass legislation to stimulate over the people with all these AI data centers. They're gonna have to be cutting back in all this social spending, oil prices, and all that stuff. Because when you really look at it, this spike in oil prices, it's a way of them to push people into this digital system. Because when you cannot longer afford to be paying for oil, for fuel and all that stuff, one thing that will be left option that's being engineered to be in popular demand will be these electric vehicles. They're gonna push people into a digital a digital system of appliance. So your vehicle becomes an appliance, an electrical appliance that can be harvested for all types of data. That's what they want. They don't have to push. They have to push the world away from oil into the so-called electrical system, so they can have more control over the people. So that's one of the tricks of conflict. You could be crying and yelling and screaming and be upset that the price of oil, is going through the roof. But you know how it is, man. They have to apply that pressure to push people into getting electric vehicles. So now they're opening up the market for these Chinese vehicles, to be here in the United States. Even Canada has already made deals, the process of making deals with China to have those electric vehicles, to be pushed into the economy. Mexico doing the same thing. Now America, the president and his so-called tech team went over there to China. So what do you think, is going to happen? They're going to have to open up United States economy for these electrical vehicles to come in, so they could have more insight upon the ways of the people to control the people. It's going to remind you of that movie In Time, on all that stuff, man. People running around, you know, hoping that their time doesn't run out, that digital clock doesn't run out. So the book of Psalms chapter 64 and 8 says that so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So the people want to get away from this system, but it's only the Lord that can deliver us, man. Only the Lord can deliver us because Esau is desperate, man. Yeah, Esau is desperate, and it's only a matter of time, Lord Amashak Yahushua will deliver us, man. You know, that's just how it is. And if you also read Sirach chapter 28 and 18, it says, many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen, as have by the tongue. Yes, a lot of people are going to get convinced to go with this system of total surveillance. The Internet of Things. That's what they want the people to get integrated with. All right. So I'll play these videos from this journalist. All right. So it's just about how they use this conflict as a distraction upon another distractions, like you're painting over another paint job. The paint hasn't even dried yet. They're applying another coat.
He is going to, when he extricates himself from this war, have to deal with an extraordinary amount of humiliation.
What we did with Venezuela, that worked out very quickly, and we're doing really equally as well with, but again, people don't want to write about it, with Iran.
So I do think that, yes, he's looking for a new distraction. I think he's hoping that he can get that fix again that he got in Venezuela.
Yep, so Revelation 12 and 12, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. All right, so that's exactly the vibration of the elect who would not have to worry about these calamities. All right. Then verse 12 says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. So Amalek is upset, He's upset that the whole world, has caught up to his shenanigans. And sooner or later, they're going to have to manufacture an event for World War III. And you just have to, be prepared spiritually to hold on, to the testament of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai.
we expect that he will show up here by his own will or by another way.
So you see, they want Raul Castro, to show up for the indictment, you know, by the Justice Department. So it just shows you how these different government agencies, are in cahoots, to propagate this environment, atmosphere of distraction. Because, the people are still waiting, for the e-files. They're waiting for the indictment. You know, Justice Department did not get the job done on the e-files. So what's so special that they have to pivot, to Cuba, to Iran, and to Venezuela? So it's just a mess. It's just a mess. You just want to keep on finding another distraction, another shooting, another so-called health, public health scare, outbreak, and all that stuff.
¡Viva nuestro Raúl! ¡Hasta la victoria siempre! The problem for him is that there is no opposition on the island, and so there isn't a way to seamlessly facilitate a coup that would lead to a new government that had the capacity to actually govern in Cuba. What regime change would mean for the Cuban people depends on what type of regime change we're looking at. If it's a regime change that is at the point of a gun and brings back the kind of mafia that was thrown out in the revolution, then you're looking at probably a permanent failed state. At Dropsite, we did a poll that asked people, do you believe that Trump in part launched a war on Iran in order to distract from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal? A majority of Americans said that yes, he went to war at least in part to distract from Jeffrey Epstein. And so now, yes, I could see him needing a distraction from his previous distraction. Distracted all the way down.
Yeah, so that's one thing you're gonna have to get used to, man. So the book of Matthew 24:21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So that's what we're praying for. The Lord Amashaki Awashai Bashim Kakadash would make it possible to overcome the wiles of the devil. That's one thing we've always been praying for, man. So Zephaniah 1:14, the great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasted greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Verse 16, a day of the trumpet, an alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. Oh boy, it's going to be total devastation, man, of Esau's system, Esau's society. All right, and I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord Yahweh Shemashah Bashim Kakadash, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. So it's gonna be painful, man. Yeah, it's gonna be painful when the Lord is making that separation from Edom, because the Lord has to bring about that separation, of our people out of Edom, out of America, out of every society. We've been held captive. Verse 18, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So the Lord has a plan to eviscerate the power structure of Esau. And make sure the world, puts some respect on his name. And that's just how it is. The Lord has to bring about that power structure that will make the whole world fear him. All right. And I'll get another precept just to wrap this up. It's going to be from Revelation chapter 18 and 14. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So that's the beauty of trusting the Lord, man. You want to be able to hear that calling and be accepted for salvation. So, yeah, that's what we have to be preparing for.
They don't have electricity, they don't have money, they don't have really anything, they don't have food, and we're going to help them along.
Yeah, so the same man causing the problem, wants to be the solution. It doesn't work that way. Revelation 18 and 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High, had remembered her iniquities. Verse 6, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she had filled, fill to her double. Yeah, so that's America's judgment. Then verse 7 says how much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Yeah, so this is just it, the beginning of sorrows for Babylon.
The precise goal of the U.S. policy is to immiserate people and have them blame the government for it. It is bleak. Inflation is rampant. There are shortages. Infant mortality is rising, which means babies are dying. Life expectancy is diminishing. And so I think under the circumstances of collapsed state situation, you'd have...
Yep, so that's why it's Shalom.